Hey guys, my name is Donnovan. This is Pete. Behind me is my 900 horsepower A90 Supra, and you're watching HDWerks. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My first time here. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button down below so that way you know when Pete's got a ton of cool shit coming out of the shop. Now, rundown before the car got here. Came to Pete with a built motor from P-Tune in Virginia, built transmissions from Pure Drivetrain Solutions, ton of other stuff. Really, it just came here. Some of the OEM's parts started failing, needed some diode work, and that's where I brought it to Pete. All right, Pete, so why don't you give him a rundown of how we attack this problem?
So Donnovan came to me, you had a laundry list of things that you needed to get done. Some maintenance stuff that we had to get done. We had some errors in the computer where the cam gears were throwing some codes. We wanted to get that done. Car didn't have an exhaust, car didn't have a catch can. So we just kind of looked at the big picture and went down the list and kind of got all of them done all in one shot. Starting with the cam gear issue, because that was like the most pertinent thing, because it was keeping the car put in limp mode, so it wouldn't run right. So that was the first thing that we did right off of the block, got the car running right, all right, cool. And then we moved on to the next thing, making the exhaust for the car, full titanium all the way down to the back, nice burnt tips, did a Radium catch can, and then just kind of got it on the street and really tested it then, made sure everything was good. And now we don't have any codes. Now the car runs really good, and we can go out there and kind of beat it up a little bit like he's been doing. So having said that, let's kind of move on to the next step here and we'll start talking about the exterior a little bit. Car looks pretty stock, kind of like OEM Plus. Yeah, we want to kind of keep it a little bit sleeper, but if you kind of look back here a little bit, there's a little bit of extra wheel in the back there. And the green kind of gives it away. This car might make a little bit of horsepower, and then once we sneak around the back, you'll see there's a chute back there, and that kind of really gives it away. But if you have a whole lot of power, you're going to want to stop. There's a big brake kit on the front of the car. This car right now is kind of set up for straight line stuff. So we have some skinnies on the front from Mickey Thompson and some ET Streets on the back. It'll definitely help you go in a straight line, maybe not on the curve so much, but this is definitely more of a street car in the straight line and more than anything, I guess. Other than that, the body's really stock, just some carbon caps here. I can take you to the inside here. Got some carbon fiber seats with some custom inserts, and we actually had the steering wheel, the center lines actually matched to the seats and stuff. But other than that, super stock car. You'll see the chute thing in there and the release in there. That's kind of a giveaway. But stock looking anyway. All right guys, moving to the back of the car here, I want to point out a couple things a little bit more in detail now that we're back here. Obviously, we have the chute here, can't miss that, attached to the chassis of the car. So if there's a oh shit type of situation, we need to stop, or when we're at the track, and obviously at the end of the track, we're doing, you know, 100 plus, whatever it ends up being, we can hit it and slow down so we don't tax the brakes on the front of the car. There's a cage right back here. The windows are really tinted. That kind of bolts the whole chassis together. When you're making this type of power, you want to make sure that everything is really tight, really stiff, so you can't go wrong with a little bit of extra chassis stiffening, no matter what. And it's an added safety bonus also. Underneath here, we have our titanium exhaust that I made for him. So what we did was take from the downpipe back, then all the way back, it's 3.5 slip fit exhaust. So it's super lightweight. It all slips together and clamps. Comes to the back, and then I split it up in the middle here with all pie cuts, and then out to the left and right corner. Burnt tips, all polished, looks really good. It might weigh 5 pounds. I didn't even bother weighing it, but it's super light and goes with the whole build of the car. One last thing, this carbon fiber wing, it's your honeycomb type of look. It looks really nice on the car, kind of flows with everything. Nice little simple add-on, nothing crazy. We wanted to kind of keep with the originality of the car, not go bananas with a bunch of like bolt-on little body doodads. So this is a nice little option, looks good and functions at the same time. All right guys, so let's talk about the guts of this thing, really what makes it go and what puts you in the seat. So let me pop the hood. 2 clicks there. Thank you, BMW. So when Donnovan brought me this car, it was having some mechanical issues. The car would come out of boost and it would give us this code, that's like a Vanos code, that would put the car basically into limp mode. So we figured out that one of our Vanos gears and the bolt that attaches to it and all the oil pressure that goes through there must have had like a little piece of trash in it in front of the filter or who knows what. So we ordered a new timing gear and a new bolt which passes all the oil pressure through it. So we have no more issue like that. We were chasing down a couple other things. We had some alignment issues that is only cleared and reset with a special computer. We solved that issue and then kind of tidied up the engine bay a little bit. We added a couple things like this Radium catch can and some other loose odds and ends that were just kind of placed in the engine bay. But now it's extremely reliable. Everything works, it's in its place. It has cams in it, so we have some Kelfords in here. I think it's the B series. The lift on these cams are much, much better. So we're gonna make even more top end now than we did before because of that. Our heat exchanger is upgraded, our fuel system is upgraded, so it has all the fuel, it has all the air. We have a nice huge Xona Rotor Turbo. We kind of want to go bigger, but we're trying to max this one out right now, see what we can do with it. The downpipe's actually a 3-inch, which is a little bit small, and the guys have found that also the smaller downpipe will actually help it keep spool longer and faster with a smaller downpipe. But when we try to make more power, that gets in the way. So it's a fine balance of flow and spool. So if we want to go for a bigger number and don't mind a little bit more lag, we can open that downpipe up a little more, which I think we're going to do next, and see how much more power it actually makes on this exact turbo with a bigger downpipe and see what the difference is on top of the cams that we just did. So all in all, I would say this engine bay is not my favorite, but everything does have its place in it now. Everything is very spaghetti in this motor, this engine bay. Everything's, there's a lot of sensors that have to be here for the computer to work properly. Like there's an ambient air temperature sensor in here that if it's not plugged in, the computer goes bananas. Hopefully we can get a cover for it to at least cover some of that shit up, but it looks good now and nothing's gonna fly around. And Donnovan is gonna take you for a ride in this thing and see what it's like to drive a 1,000 horsepower Supra on the street. See what it does.
All right guys, getting in the car and go for a little daily drive in the A90, show you what it's like to drive this thing around on the street. I mean, it's nice because it still has AC, it still has radio, I can drive it like a street car, and then I get somebody that wants to race, it's the same car, I don't have to change maps, I don't have to do anything, I can daily it or I can take it to the track. So it's pretty much what I wanted out of the car. Power's pretty manageable. You know, if the tires are a little cold, it gets a little sketchy if you stab it, but I've had the car since stock, so driving at every power level, I've kind of gotten used to it at this point. I get a lot of people holding phones out the window and thumbs up and, you know, do a burnout. And then I get the also, it's a BMW. And then I offer the race and they never want it. So I guess it's BMW. Thanks for checking out my feature on my A90 Supra. Hope you enjoyed it. Big shout out to Pete for getting me across the finish line with the build. If you want to know anything about the parts used in the build, check out the link below, and I'll see you guys next time.